Dave here, JTL. Got a nice bass for you on a little Senko rig here. It's a little, probably 2-pounder, 2.5. He's got some darn shoulder, that's for sure. As you can see there, you know how big my hand is. You can see some shoulders on that fish, but that's not a bad fish by any means. I was just getting ready to go out and cut the grass there, and I decided to go and throw a rod, and picked up this little one. They've been spawning a little bit there, as you can see on the tail. It's got it all wore out there. I'm gonna go ahead and get this fish back in there. She's probably pregnant, I'm pretty sure, but just a little jig. I've been looking for those little tube weights that go right there in the inside the Senko, but I could not find it. And well, I guess when I finally did, it was about $3 or $4 a piece. So I decided to throw out a jig and try that. And I think that's 1/8 of an ounce, something like that, maybe a little bit bigger. But that's not a fish that I would complain with by any means. But let me go ahead and get her off of there. Like I said, this little Senko is just, I'm going to show you that here in a second. This little Senko is just a nice little rig. Very, very simple. All you got to do is throw it out there and let it float down, and it'll do its work. Senko is one of the most easiest lures to fish with. So I'm going to go ahead and give that girl a kiss. Mwah! And go ahead and toss her back. I've had her out a little bit long anyway, so little largemouth. Here we go. And there she goes. So the other day I had come out here, and I threw that rig, and I got a hookup right away. And when I kind of, got a little ahead of myself there, and it was on 4-pound test. I wasn't expecting to pick her up there, and she broke the line. So I'll give it a little bit of time or whatever, no big deal, and come back and throw it again. And through that Senko, a little pumpkin seed right there, man, I tell you, that's fire. And just let it fall down. It wasn't 2 casts, half cast, something like that. And that purple, when you get dark water, this is kind of semi-clear, but once you get dark water, that purple just shows up. It shadows really good. So that's great for largemouth, and that's why I love it. And I like to use those red hooks, the laser hooks, because they're a thin wire hook, so they kind of give if you hook them into something. Because you're fishing such an exposed hook, you want to make sure that you have a thin wire hook so it bends out and you won't lose your worms, because the Senkos are kind of expensive if you get into them. I mean, they're pretty high quality ones. And this is one of those Strike Kings zero baits. I love it. I bought it, I don't know, like more than 10 years ago, and it's just been in the bag. I bought them on clearance. And it's just been in, if you haven't seen my video on my tackle bag, just go back through, search it, it's there. You'll see all the kind of stuff that I have in there. Sometimes I'll throw the kitchen sink at them. Sometimes I'll throw one specific thing. Now that I know that she loves this Senko, I'll go out and get more. I've run through one whole bag of Senkos in like 3 weeks because they've been hitting them like crazy. I have another one that's white. It's kind of a cream or pearl color, and I haven't thrown those yet, but like I said, I know that pumpkin works. So it's so close to the hatch colors, and then it's spring at the same time. So I'm just going to show you the rig here that I'm using. Just a spinning reel, and this is one of probably 10 or so reels that I use. Strangely enough, I don't really use bait casting reels. I use spinners, open face, some people call them, spinning reels. Just kind of personal preference, no other reason than that. And efficiency. So you can go just about anywhere and you'll have those bait casters. Seem to me they're about $100 or so. You can find something cheaper than that, but you know, you get what you pay for when it comes to stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and try it again here. Hopefully we can get one on the video. That would be nice. Maybe let that water, I just let it rest for a second there. Now I'm using 12-pound or 10-pound test mono on this reel, and as you've seen there, I get a little bit of twisting at the tip. If you use a high quality reel, or I've heard if you use Reel Magic, so I'm just going to let that set out there. I just casted it out. I'm going to let it sit there, and I'm going to wash the line. But I've heard if you use Reel Magic, you'll get better activity out of your line, and it'll kind of soften it up a little bit so it doesn't get all of that looping, as you can see right there. If you buy a braid, you won't have that problem. But braid doesn't stretch, it doesn't give. So when you hook up on something, it snaps and breaks right away, but otherwise it really doesn't give. Like mono gives a little bit. It's got a little abrasion resistance to it. So you can see that better than you can on I think I got a bite here. I think I got one. Nope. But you can see that abrasion resistance on mono more than you can on braid. At least I can. So basically that's some tips that you want to do, you know, especially too when you're lining your spools on your spinning reels. Only line them up to 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the reel there, from the edge of the spool, so that way you won't have it just kind of spinning off. It'll kind of spool off of there when you cast out like that. But yeah, so all right, so I'm gonna go ahead. If I get another one on, I'll get back to you guys. JTO, like I said, if you haven't checked me out, go on Facebook, check it out. Got a lot of stuff, got a lot of old videos. Been fishing a lot here. So Dave here, you see that Senko. I didn't even try and turn on the camera this time. Let me get that fish off. I'm gonna try and do this here. Let me get that fish off. Oh my gosh. All right, that was barely hooked on there. JTO, Dave here. Look at that bass. Look at my head and look at that bass. My gosh. I know that doesn't probably do it justice because I have a huge head, but yeah, that's a huge bass. That is a monster. Well, at least for this area, this is a huge bass. I'm proud of this bass, and I've caught this fish on video. I'm pretty sure about 3 or 4 years ago, out of this same area, and it's just really. And now today on a Senko, that's a 6. I think that's a 6-inch Senko, and you can see how big that bass is. You can see how long my arm is, and that is a huge bass. Okay, so you see how long my arm is. To that last reference here, that's how long. Now we'll get a measurement of that. That's the tail is right there at the end of the rod. We'll put it right there. I don't have a tape. Well, matter of fact, I do have a tape measure with me. I'm gonna hurry up before this bass starts flipping again. It's a largemouth. And here is a tape measure. As you can see, that tape measure is right there. We'll put it right down to the head there. And look at that, 17 inches. 17 inches up. He want to go that way. All right. Okay, calm down. Calm down. That's a 17-inch bass. 17-inch bass. This is probably one of my terrible videos, but that's a nice largemouth. Every bit of 3.5 pounds. But gonna go ahead and release this puppy. I'm gonna try not to drop my phone in here. Look at that tongue. Make sure it's healthy. Looks nice and healthy. All right. And there she goes. Right back. Right back. So that tells you, or at least it should tell you, that I know what I'm talking about, okay? Get this. If you don't have it, if you do not have it, go out there right now. Turn off the video, or if you're on your cell phone, go right to Walmart, wherever, Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, I don't care. Get you a 6-inch Senkos and pumpkin. That thing is fire. It is fire. It is pure gold. I am sad that it is the last one that I've used. Salt impregnated. I'm gonna have to go ahead and get one right now. That fish has bent the hook. If you can see that, that fish has bent that hook straight out there. Not straight, meaning that it's bent it up. So it's wore the red paint off of that hook. It was just barely hooked. But all right, that's it for right now. I'm gonna go ahead and get some stuff finished up before this rain hits. JTO got more coming. I'm telling you, I'm stoked. I want to end on a high note. I don't want to go out there and not catch another one. I want to end on a high note. Most guys would say, "Oh, I'm just gonna fish until I can't catch anymore." No. You will learn more by ending after you caught a good fish than if you were out there struggling and getting frustrated because nothing is working. The Senkos strikes again. I'm telling you, this has got to be one of the most simplest baits I've ever fished. Besides like a grub tail, a jig in the tail. It's got to be one of the simplest baits I've ever fished. You can get excellent results. All sizes of fish bite it, large and small. Smallmouth, largemouth, but as you can see, largemouth love it, and it really makes a difference. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw this fish back here. It's a little small one, about a pound or so, somewhere around there, maybe less, but a nice fish nonetheless. I mean, every bass counts. You can't tell me otherwise. If you think otherwise, definitely haven't been watching my videos. Doesn't matter the size of it. You gotta love fishing. Give it a kiss. Mwah. And gonna release this one. So definitely. Just take a little time and get a Senkos. That Senkos is so simple. You can get several different sizes. I do believe that this one is a 6-inch, if I'm correct, and it is a great little bait to just toss out on a lazy Saturday evening or morning, whenever. Bass love it. I like to use a heavy salted with a 1/8 ounce jig head, and that seems to work great. Gamakatsu hooks, you can try those. I've tried it weightless, and just the hook. It falls a little bit slower. If those bass are reluctant to bite, then you probably want to use a weightless presentation, because it'll give them more time in the strike zone. You give your worm more time in the strike zone. But the weighted just gives it less time and it falls a little bit faster, so those bass don't have a chance to think about it. Wacky rigging it, best way. You can try different ways, whatever works for you, but wacky rig and drop shotting it works great. So okay, all right, that's another bass on. I'm gonna keep fishing here. I have another one I'm gonna try out here again. One of my go-to baits, and it doesn't matter what I'm fishing for, really. It really doesn't. But just about everything bites this. I haven't found too much. I've caught crappie, bluegill, bass, catfish, sawguy, of course. They were originally kind of made for sawguy, walleye. I mean, you just about you name it. White bass. Just caught everything on this, and that is a big Joshy swim bait. I'm just gonna get this. Show you the way that it normally sits. This guy, what he's doing, Josh, what he is doing with his lures is ridiculous. The amount of assortment that he has now that it's been about 6 or 8 years, somewhere around there, he's been making them, close to. The flexibility and the softness in this bait is just ridiculous, and the swimming action that you get from these swim baits is unbelievable. That is why a lot of fish do not resist it. They do bite, they snip, they bite hard, they hold on. But yeah, if you don't have these, you need to get them. BigJoshySwimbaits.com. That's where you can find them. If you don't do that, just Google it. You'll pop up. He's on Facebook. Check it out. These chartreuse is fire. Okay, that is fire right there. One of the first ones I ever bought. He has several different colors. Always coming out with new ones to try. They range from different lengths all the way down to 2.3 inches, I believe, and go up to like 5 or something like that. They're really nice lures, and you will definitely love them once you fish them. You'll see why. I always like to use, when I'm using exposed, come on, focus here. When I'm using exposed hooks, I typically like to use the red thin wire hooks, because in case especially on expensive baits, not to say that this one is expensive, but especially when I'm fishing rocky areas or something like that, heavy curry areas, I'm using a thin wire hook because it is going to straighten out, and 90% of the time when I hook up on something and put some weight on it, it's going to straighten out. But it doesn't straighten out with a super heavy fish. I'm talking about up to 5 or 6 pounds. It won't straighten out. If you're Kevin Van Dam and you're not catching anything less than 7 pounds, that's just sarcasm. But there's another one for the Senko. Just ranking them in. That purple and that pumpkin green, pumpkin seed Senko is just freaking fire. Let's go ahead, and you see where it's caught? Way in the mouth there. You see where that hook is? Right in the middle of that Senko. That thing is wore out. I'm gonna go ahead and pop it off here. Come on. That thing is hooked real good. But yeah, I'm gonna keep getting more of these, that's for sure. Another little kiss there. Uh-oh, there he goes. All right, let's keep this going.